next week I'm going to be at Adara's wedding, so I won't be here either. So I'll let them know. Good morning. Hello, hello. I noticed a bunch of blue stars on the in-studio roster. I think that means you're new, either new to me or new to the studio. So I just want to say welcome, Mariel. And all the regulars, please help us welcome the new folks so that maybe they want to stay. My name's Mariel. I'll be facilitating the class. This is Melissa. She's assisting. She'll be coming around. She can bring you props. She can help you with your postures. And Camden will be on the mat for both the folks at home, the live streamers, and for, or is that what they're called? I don't know. And for you all, if you're like, what the hell is she talking about? Camden is a great translator with her body. She'll demo what I mean brilliantly. Any requests? I feel like I haven't asked about that in a while. Anything you want to make sure we do? Okay, it's not a speak now or forever hold your peace model. So for new folks, I take requests if there's parts of the body you want to focus on or a particular pose or class of poses, let me know. You can come in. And I just ask that as best you can check your obligations at the door. Be here because you want to be, not because you have to be. This is your practice of yoga. There's space here, there's space there, there's space there, wherever you're comfortable. And everything I offer is an invitation, not an obligation. So please feel free to take it or leave it, modify as you like, and ask questions. I'm going to run through some announcements. It's October. It's fully October. We have an autumn reset retreat, renewal through the Sacred Elements yoga retreat with Eric in November 14th to the 17th at the River Mountain Yoga Retreat Center up in, I think, the Allegheny Mountains. It's absolutely beautiful, like full-on fresh air, foliage. We have later on today, Durga Stories lessons for Navaratri with Anisha from 5:30 to 7. Starting tomorrow, I'm doing an intermediate advanced 4-week series from 6:30 to 8:30 in the downstairs studio. Intermediate advanced means all levels are welcome. You don't have to be able to do anything in particular in order to join us. It'll be casual. I'll practice alongside you. We might do things sooner in class than you might get to in a regular public class. You might see things because we have 2 hours that we might not get to in a regular public class. And what intermediate advanced here at Three Queens means is open heart, open mind, and some trust between us about knowing and doing what's appropriate for you. And like, that it's not jackass yoga. Like, you don't have to do, and you shouldn't try to do the shit that isn't appropriate for you. That's how that goes. Harmonious Healing Sound Bath with Elizabeth is on Sunday next week from 6:45 to 7:45. Luminous Lessons from Ancient India with Rupa Pai. She joins us virtually from India. She's a brilliant author that's done like translations for children, but like also adults of many of the yoga texts. We have them downstairs if you want to check that out. So Luminous Lessons from Ancient India with Rupa is on Saturday and Sunday, October 19th and 20th, 12:30 to 2. Pranayama Practice Group with Adriana starts at the end of October. That's a virtual 8-week series at 7:45 a.m. And Tarot for Self-Discovery with Eric is Sunday, October 27th from 12:30 to 3. And that Wim Hof workshop, for those who signed up, we didn't quite get enough signups, so we've pushed it to December 1st. The Wim Hof method and ice baths for yoga practitioners is December 1st from 1 to 5. We'll talk about that more later. How's everyone doing? Psoas, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's like just get in the psoas. Okay, psoas. For those are like, if anyone's like, WTF is that? Your psoas is a group of muscles. It's the deepest group of core muscles that literally attaches you and holds you together from front to back and top to bottom. So it wraps, if you can picture your spine as three-dimensional, it has a back that sort of faces the back body. You can sort of see your vertebra, sides, and a front that faces your inner body. It attaches to the front of your spine and wraps around like this and attaches to your lesser trochanter. That's like this top area of your upper inner thigh. So literally from back to front and top to bottom, it holds you together. And because of various things that we undergo in life, all of us, because we're human, no one's immune or exempt, we like go through shit and we have habits that just kind of make it tight and weak, yoga can be great for lengthening it and stretching it and releasing it. So that'll feel nice. Thanks for the request. So it is Navratri. I guess I get asked this at least a couple times a year. Does the name Three Queens represent like 3 owners of the yoga studio? And the answer is no. The Three Queens, I have 2 businesses and 2 children, and I don't know if this is a Jewish thing. I have Jewish heritage, and we're supposed to like name people after people who have passed. Is that a Jewish thing or no? Okay, so I held on to that somehow. And so when I had businesses before I had children, I wanted to name them after the neighborhoods that they belong to. And so we have a coffee shop that's named Shot Tower Coffee. It was named after the Thomas Sparks shot tower in the neighborhood, and like a shot of espresso, kind of get it. And Three Queens, I didn't want to call it like Queen Village Yoga, and in our yoga lineage, our yoga tradition, we're a divine feminine centered tradition. It's called a Shakta tradition. We worship the divine feminine energy known as Shakti, and she has 3 aspects. It's called the Tri-Devi. Saraswati is the goddess of creation. Lakshmi is the goddess of sustenance, preservation, beauty, and abundance. And Parvati, who is like also in herself 3 goddesses, Parvati, Durga, Kali, I'm not trying to blow anyone's mind right now, is the goddess as Parvati. She's the householder, the goddess that holds the house and domesticates her consort here, who looks pretty wild. And as Durga, she's the great mother, the goddess that is the great mother and protector of all beings. And as Kali, she's the fierce warrior goddess, the goddess of dissolution and transformation. So that's the Tri-Devi. And all of us, regardless of how we gender identify, every single one of us is all 3 queens. We all have within us the aspect of the divine feminine, because in our sort of cosmology, the idea is that Shiva and Shakti, so this is the divine masculine, the Lord of Yoga, his consort is the 3 queens, the 3 goddesses, that they get together, the one becomes the 2 and the 2 becomes the many, and that she, in our tradition, rather than, we don't practice to try to like achieve liberation or achieve nirvana. We practice to achieve intimacy. That's the attainment that we're after. It's sort of like we're born free, and fluency in yoga is about intimacy with ourselves and those in the world around us. And so out of their intimacy, their union, she desires to reflect to him all that is, his infinite, that he is infinity, and so she infinitely consolidates herself into and as all of us and all that is, because intimacy is about reflection, right? Like your beloved reveals to you aspects of yourself that you might not otherwise be aware of, even if you consider yourself very self-aware. Anyone have friends or siblings or loved ones who kind of reflect for you? And so anyway, she consolidates herself into the form of the breath and pours life into all that is to reveal herself in us, as us, through us, and to reflect him. So we are all 3 goddesses. That was like kind of in a nutshell. There's a whole book that I love, that I cherish. And so right now we're I think like 3 or 4 days into the tradition that celebrates, the festival that celebrates the Tri-Devi. It's called Navratri. Nav or Nava means 9, bless you, and Ratri means nights. It's the 9 nights that we celebrate the goddess in her 9 forms. So the first 3 nights are dedicated to Saraswati, the next 3 to Lakshmi, and the last 3 to Durga. And then sometimes they're like considered all 9 forms of Durga. They're just archetypes that live within every single one of us. And it's kind of appropriate. So as the story goes, there is a demon. We are every character in every story, and our practice is to see every character in ourselves. There's this buffalo-headed demon known as Mahisha-Asura, the buffalo-headed demon, who is absolutely and utterly in service to his own self-interest. characters like this in the world today, maybe in your personal life, maybe out there in the world. It's failure of leadership characters. And he, because of his tapas and his austerities and his practices, he's granted a boon. And when the demons get boons, what they inevitably ask for is immortality, which can't be granted. So they want the next best thing. And the story goes something like, he wants to be able to not be defeated by any man or animal. And he thinks that that's as good as being granted immortality, to not be killed by any man or animal. So there's a loophole. He starts destroying all the worlds, the netherworlds, the earth, the heavens. He's trying to like take over. And what's at stake is utter nihilism, also kind of feels relevant. And the gods get together and they're basically like, oh shit, what the fuck are we gonna do? Sorry, make sure it's not appropriate for children on YouTube. This is not the children's version of the story. And they're like, we need the goddess, basically. We need a feminine energy to destroy this demon. And they're like, all the gods are together, and when they come together, all the collaboration of all their light, from the collaboration, the togetherness, the gods coming together, she emerges from their collective light. The goddess emerges. So she's sort of made from their collaboration, their being together, their community. From that, she emerges, and they bestow upon her all their various weapons, which are considered instruments of knowledge. So like Shiva has a trident, and Vishnu has a discus. They all like Indra has the lightning bolt. They all, correct me if I'm wrong, they all have different weapons. So when you see Durga on her line, she's often like has 10 arms or more, and she has a weapon in every hand. And Mahishasura is continuing to cosmically destroy everything. And she shows up and he kind of laughs and the world rumbles. He's like, a woman to destroy me? Yeah, right. And then like she laughs back and it like earthquakes. And a battle ensues, and it said that it goes on for 9 nights. And on the 9th night, she defeats evil. She finally decapitates the buffalo-headed demon, and the demon comes out, and then she like kills him, and it's a done deal. And then like as the story goes, because the story is volumes and volumes long, there's more battles that come because the world, more wars, more battles. And when the world is on the brink of utter annihilation, that's when they call on Durga. And when even Durga is struggling to defeat the demons, it said that from her knitted brow, like when you're really like in something, emerges Kali, her most fierce aspect. And as the Mahisha, we're going to do yoga, I promise, but this is important. As the Mahishasura story goes, she spills his blood and drains him of his vitality. In the story that Kali emerges from her, that demon that she's fighting asks for this boon where every time he spills a drop of blood, clones of himself emerge from his spilled blood. So she's fighting him, and the more she wounds him, the more he becomes more of himself, like more and more clones. His army grows with every wound. It's like a little Trumpy. I thought we were gonna be done with grab her by the pussy. That was like in 2015 or 16. Like the army grows. Sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone. I really don't anymore. I went through a phase where I did. I really don't mean to offend. I really want to be in conversation and have intimacy across lines of difference. I do, but we can have a laugh in our bubble, right? And so it's her knitted brow. She's like, what is happening? Every time I wound him, he's getting stronger and growing. And from her knitted brow emerges Kali, and you'll often see Kali with her tongue out, and she like indicates to Kali, like, don't let any blood hit the ground. And so Kali rolls out her tongue and laps up all the blood on the battlefield. I love your face. And then every time Durga wounds, his name is Raktabija, Kali drops the blood, catches the blood in her mouth. I gave a long story, Elena, so you're right on time. And it's this idea that like sometimes we can drain the demons in our stories of their vitality. Like sometimes that's possible. And we all have demons in our story. Like you ever hear those yoga things or meditation, like just let it go? Anyone ever like struggle with like some parts of your story that you just can't really let go of? And honestly, like they are such an important aspect and fabric of your being. And the Raktabija and Kali story says like you just can't drain that of its life force. You have to assimilate it. You make it part of you. It's like the poison is the medicine. And so Kali assimilates the vitality, the life force energy of the demon. She takes it in. She goes kind of wild. And then Shiva ends up showing up. They're like, now Kali's wreaking havoc because she's taken in all of the demon's blood, life force. And so Shiva lays himself out on the battleground, and it said that she like steps on him and it cools her. Like just like her toe touching her beloved just like chills her out. Anyone have that in their intimacy? Like when chill each other out. Okay, so we're gonna celebrate the goddess it's a 9 nights. I forget when it ends. I think it started the 4th, so maybe like the 13th. I think I'm not here next week. That's another story. But I'm gonna read to you a little bit of the Devi Mahatmya at the end, and I invite you to imagine the word mother, not as a word that means like mom or your idea of mom, but really as like a verb. Mother as a verb. What does it mean to mother? To create something and to protect something, to fiercely protect something. And these are aspects that reside within every single one of us. Take as comfortable a seat as humanly possible. What do you want to create in and through your physical practice of yoga? Like, why are you here? How did you get here? What is it in your heart of heart that you have come here to create and to nurture in yourself, in your practice? And she is the aspect in every single one of us that creates, nurtures, and protects. Allow your eyes to soften, and if it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes, a gesture of turning into darkness in order to see more clearly. Just like in our lineage of yoga, we see ourselves in every character of the yoga stories and every character in ourselves. So too, just take a moment to consider your own story, all the characters in your story. The good ones, the neutral ones, the not so good ones, the great ones. And we all have the shitty ones. Can you see them in yourself? They live inside you. And our yoga is an opportunity to align ourselves, engage ourselves, and stretch ourselves through aligned engagement in order to accommodate, to make space to accommodate all these characters, our whole story, all of life, all that is, to make ourselves more comfortable with ourselves and in our stories. Sometimes through our practice of yoga, we let go of aspects of our story that no longer serve us. This happens consciously, subconsciously, and even unconsciously through the practice of yoga. And also through our practices of yoga, we have an opportunity to assimilate the parts that we can't sever. Invite the deepest breath in and down, let it fill you up. And exhale with an audible sigh. Helps us let go. And take a deep breath in and down, let it fill you up. The breath ignites the heart illuminates the mind and the body. And here in this gift of embodiment, a slow breath out. And one more time, a deep breath in, let it fill you up, take it to heart. The heart ignites, and as you exhale, let the light of the heart begin to emanate from inside out in all directions on the currents of your breath. On your next inhale, we'll bring the hands together before the heart in Anjali Mudra, a prayer gesture of self-reverence that acknowledges the voice of the true teacher, all aspects of the goddess that reside within the heart of hearts, the source of supreme love and divine wisdom, always present, intrinsically peaceful and utterly powerful. And we place this aspect of ourselves before us as a guide for at least the time we spend together. And together we'll set the tone for our practice today by sharing the voices of our hearts and the sound of an Om. And you can please feel free to join into the sound or just let it wash over you. Deep breath in. Bow to your heart, always present. And as best you can, keeping that connection inward, unwavering, release the hands, blink open the eyes, and we'll come onto all fours to start in a tabletop position. Find your breath. So the entire physical practice of yoga is first and foremost in service to your breath. First and foremost in service to your breath. That's called Chitta Shakti or Prana. It's the way in which the goddess Shakti consolidates herself into the form of the breath and pours herself as the gift of life into all that is. So we often think of ourselves as a person with a breath. Think of yourself as a breath with a body. Let the breath begin to exhale. Follow the exhale round your back like a Halloween cat. Let the inhale begin and follow the inhale as you arch your back. It's called cat-cow. Exhale to round like a cat. She rides a tiger or a lion. Inhale to arch. Her beloved Shiva, the Lord of Yoga, rides Nandi, the bull, the cow. Cat-cow. I just made that, 20-something years of yoga, I just realized that. Literally. Did anyone else ever think of that? We start with their vehicles, Shiva and Shakti, cat-cow. Notice what you feel what you notice. Perhaps notice if there's anything in particular you might need or want from your practice of yoga, and also allow yourself to become sensitive and receptive to whatever it is your practice has to offer to you today. If not already, walk your hands up to the top corners of your mat. Index fingers can be shoulder width apart. Stretch your right leg back behind you with the ball of the foot on the ground and push your hands down and forward to stretch your right heel back. We're looking for a stretch, a sensation in the lower right leg, the back of the leg. And then the right hip tends to lift up. Wrap your right hip towards the ground. Yes, does that change things a little? Lower the right knee down. Also, please feel free to pad your knees here with your blanket. Stretch your left leg back. And press your hands down and forward as you press back through the left heel. The left hip tends to sort of hike up. Wrap the left hip forward and push the hands forward as you press the heel back. Left knee to the ground. Turn your right hand clockwise so that your fingers point towards the back of the room. You can walk your knees forward if it's too much. Claw your fingertips. If you want more, walk your knees back, send your hips back, like puppy pose or child's pose, like that direction. Sort of the corresponding lower inner forearm. Everyone feel something there? Turn your right hand around. We'll turn the left hand counterclockwise. Claw the fingertips. And if you want more, you send your hips back, your knees back. And turn the left hand around. Walk your knees back a little bit, hands forward a little bit, big breath in, cute nails. Take it back to downward facing dog. And now here, as you claw the fingertips, bend your left leg a lot, stretch back through your right thigh, down through your right heel. And then bend the right leg a lot and stretch back through the left thigh and down through the left heel. Breathing through the nose, breath to heart, heart to mind, mind to body. Again, noticing what you feel and feeling what you notice. Inhale to the top of a plank, top of a push-up. Lift your thighs high, claw your fingertips and spread your toes. And as your thighs lift, look forward, reach your heart forward, soften the brow. Is it slippery? Are you slipping on there? Yeah, here, try this one. I'm just gonna put it right on top. Love the IBX mat. They love us doing yoga in Philly. Go IBX. I hate my health insurance though. Downward dog. But glad that I have it. Anyone from that generation in their 20s where we didn't have insurance? Remember that? Inhale, float the right leg to the sky, big breath in. Exhale, catch your lunge. On the inhale, reach the arms up. So she rides a lion or a tiger. It's depicted differently, so I like to think liger. Yeah. Which is a ferocious, wild animal. And it's this idea that the vehicle, the liger, doesn't control her, she controls it. So lift your back heel high and imagine you're on the back of a tiger. Pull your feet towards each other like you're on tiger skin and square your hips from left to right more. Left hip forward, right hip back. And as you pull the feet towards each other, lift your back heel, knee, and thigh higher. Feel the back leg get straighter, stronger, more lifted. And as you exhale, bend the front leg deeper. Good, reach up through the thumbs as you bend in the front leg. On your next exhale, plant your hands, downward facing dog. This got strange today. Let's work on that moving forward. Find your breath. As you inhale through the nose, the belly expands. As you exhale through the nose, the belly softens. We sort of maintain and cultivate consistency with the breath in this way. Intimacy with the breath is intimacy with the divine Shakti. On your inhale, follow the breath, float the left leg to the sky, ride your exhale through to the lunge. Plant both feet as though you're on the back of a lion or a tiger, and on the inhale, reach the arms up. You're in control. Pull your feet towards each other. Feel the legs engage. Lift the back heel, knee, and thigh to the sky. Feel the back leg get stronger. Reach up through the thumbs. And as you keep the back knee lifting up, bend the front leg deeper. Inhale, belly gets big and full. Exhale, belly softens. Plant the hands. Take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. So just like we were lifting the back knee up in our lunges, lift your knees high to the sky, look forward, and as you exhale, bend your elbows halfway, lift your knees and thighs higher like lunges, push your arms straight. Exhale, downward dog, fierce. Yes. On your inhale, float your right leg to the sky. Exhale through to lunge. Back heel to the ground. Inhale for warrior two. Right knee and toes point straight ahead. Turn your back toes in. So the tendency here is to lean over your front leg. And when you lean over your front leg, you lose connection to the back leg, which grounds you and supports you and sustains you. When we lose connection to the back leg, we're sort of losing, giving up some control. So as you pull your feet towards each other, gaze over your right fingertips, but reach back through the left arm and feel your torso come more centered between the legs, yeah? Now as you push down through your back leg, energetically drag your back foot forward and bend your front leg deeper. Try not to lean forward or hinge forward. Reach back. And as you bend in the front leg, squeeze your front heel in and guide your front knee open. Bend 1 more inch. Exhale, touch the ground. Downward facing dog. Breath to heart. heart to mind, mind to body. Follow the breath to heart, heart to mind, mind to body. Dial into this channel to cultivate intimacy with breath, with life, with self, self-intimacy. Inhale to float the left leg to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Back heel to the ground, warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. The warrior has a steady gaze inward even as they extend themselves outward. Walk your back foot back a little bit, stretch yourself. Pull your feet towards each other, stabilize yourself. Becky, you can walk your back foot in a little bit. Yeah. And as you pull the feet towards each other, reach back through the right arm, straight back. Is it okay to touch? Okay. Yes, and then you can bend the front leg deeper. Awesome. Squeeze the front heel in, guide the front knee open. One more breath, go 1 inch deeper. Reach back. Yes, that'll help. Exhale, touch the ground, downward facing dog. So I had this revelation about mothering that I don't think is unique to being a mother, but I didn't realize until I became a mother, that it's this thing that happens to us as humans every time we reach like a tipping point, a point of no return, a boundary, a limitation, where we're like, I think it's called like woman on the verge. Inhale to plank. Keep the knees and thighs lifting, and you're right on the edge of what you think you're capable of, like can handle, like you're at the point where I can't handle this, and then you survive it, you overcome it, and the boundary has expanded. That's you being mothered by life, by self. The thighs lift, and the key is you gotta keep your thighs lifting as you bend your elbows halfway. Go right to your edge, thighs lift, look forward. Good, push the arms straight. Fierce, downward dog. It's when the self-perceived limitations are sort of blown away. You have a self-perceived limitation, and then you realize you're capable of more than you even realize. We all have that experience in life, when you realize you're capable of more than you realized. Inhale, float the right leg up. Exhale, catch the lunge. Back heel to the ground. Inhale through warrior two, stretch your stance. Stand your ground, pull the feet towards each other. We'll take right forearm to right thigh and reach the left arm overhead. And you stretch yourself down through the ground into your back leg, through the back leg into the ground, and then pull the back foot forward and reach out beyond your left fingertips. Take the right shoulder back, the left shoulder blade back, and then turn your lungs, your chest, your heart towards the sky. And use that bottom elbow to direct the bottom knee open. Inhale, warrior two. Reach back, bend deeper than ever before. Push your front leg straight, hallelujah. Right fingertips to the floor or a block. Triangle pose. Pull your feet towards each other so that the legs feel engaged from the feet, the ground, all the way up into the hips and pelvis. And from the core of your pelvis, your low belly, push down through your legs, down and out through your legs and feet to extend through the spine and the crown. As you press through your right fingertips, reach past your left fingertips. One more breath, close your eyes, look for the breath, breath to heart, heart to mind, mind to body. And as you exhale, let the light of the heart emanate from inside out in all directions. Is it okay to touch here? On the exhale, just pass through your low lunge. Take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal your feet from side to side. Notice what you feel what you notice, particularly any newfound space in you through which the breath can flow in you, as you, through you, more deeply, more fully, more freely. making yourself a more full offering to the breath. On the inhale, float the left leg to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge, back heel to the ground, warrior two. Second side. Stretch your stance, stand your ground. A moment to appreciate, acknowledge, and honor the value of your breath. What is worth fighting for till your last breath? Reach back through your right arm, bend the front leg deeper. Squeeze the front heel in, guide the front knee open. What do you protect to your last breath? Left forearm to left thigh, right arm overhead. You root through the back leg, push your right foot into the earth to ground you, to stabilize you. And as you root through the back leg, reach out beyond yourself, past yourself through your right fingertips. What are you reaching for? Use the left elbow to guide the left knee open, and then turn the left lung towards the sky. Slide the palate back. Change nothing in the legs, but on the inhale, pull the feet towards each other like you're on the back of the tiger. Flip the right palm to the sky, reach up and back, warrior two, like you're gonna touch the person behind you. Hold hands and bend the front leg deeper. Is it cold in here? Push the front leg straight. Exhale, left fingertips to the floor or a block for triangle pose. Feel both feet on the ground, pull the feet towards each other, draw the kneecaps up. So make sure your knees aren't locked. If your knees are locked, you're falling off the tiger. Bend the knees, pull the feet towards each other. And then from the core of the pelvis, as you root through the legs, the energy rebounds through the spine and the crown, and you can lean back on your shoulder blades and maybe close your eyes for one more breath. Breath to heart. Heart to mind, mind to body, and the light of the heart emanates from inside out in all directions, like a star. On the exhale, pass through your lunge, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Inhale for plank. Lift the heels high. Claw the fingertips, spread the toes. Lift your knees and thighs, and as you exhale, bend your elbows only as much as you can keep the thighs lifting. Inhale, push the arms straight. Exhale, bend the elbows. Good, lower the knees, the thighs, the hips, the belly. As you inhale, slide the heart forward and up. Feel your legs are part of the tiger. Press the legs down and in. Can you let your hands hover? What? Yes, and as you press your feet down, let the heart lift. Press your feet down more. The more you press your feet down, yes, the more the heart lifts. Exhale, downward dog. That was awesome, Jaya. Find your breath. As you inhale, float the right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it through to lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up. Lift the back heel high, big breath, and as you exhale, big step forward to balance on your right leg. Cross ankle over thigh and sit deep into pigeon chair. You can reach the arms forward as you send your hips back and down, so you counterbalance. Flex the left foot. Bend deeper in your standing leg, reach your butt back. Yeah, you can reach forward to take your butt back. Breathe into what can't be seen, but can be felt. As you inhale, reach up, stand up, take a big step back to lunge. Huge breath in, both feet on the ground. As you exhale, plant your hands, take it back to downward dog. Find your breath, ride your breath. Your breath is your vehicle. On the inhale, float the left leg to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, step forward, cross ankle over thigh, sit deep into pigeon chair. Flex the right foot, spread the toes. Reach the arms forward as you send the hips back and down. And breathe into what can't be seen but can be felt, the openings that allow the breath to flow in you, as you, through you, more deeply, more fully, more freely. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, thread it all the way back to lunge. Huge breath in, both feet on the ground. Exhale, plant your hands. Downward facing dog. Find your breath. Take a ride on your breath. Inhale for plank. Claw the fingertips. Exhale, bottom of a plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, carries the heart forward and up for Cobra, Bhujangasana. Follow your exhale to downward dog. Take your time. Go at your pace. Follow your breath. Pedal the feet in dog. Notice any changes, any newfound space. Let's take the right foot through to lunge and bring your blocks high inside your right foot. You can lower your back knee to the ground. Put your blanket there to pad your knee as needed. Do you want a blanket, Ann? You want a blanket? Yeah. Anyone else need or want a blanket for the back knee? Do you want a blanket? Okay, so the back knee is on the ground and you want to have the back toes tucked under and the weight more at the base of the thigh than right on the kneecap. So you can even walk your back knee back a little bit. Just lift your back knee up, I'll put it there for you. There you go. So try to get more at the base of the thigh, right above the knee. Walk your blocks a little bit over to the left and then bend your back leg and with your left hand, catch your left foot for a thigh stretch. If you feel steady, you can bring the right block inside the right foot, maybe even bring the right hand to the right thigh if you feel steady. Everyone feel a thigh stretch? Now the tendency, just like in our Warrior Two, is for the weight of being to kind of drop down and forward. We want to take control here and try to get the top of the back thigh back, like you're moving your butt towards the back of the room. Yeah. Now keeping that, pull the back knee forward and then rest the shoulders back, the head back. Carefully, you might have to find the block with the right hand. Take your right foot back like 2 inches to that line on your mat, to the line behind the heel. Your front foot back, your front foot back. Back, back, back. Yeah, I just don't want you to strain the knee. So front knee directly over the ankle. Gently release. Take it back through dog. Right leg through to, left leg through to lunge, low lunge, back knee to the earth. Lower the back knee down, blocks high inside your front foot. Have your front knee directly over the ankle. You might have to scooch your back knee in a little bit so that you're not straining that front knee. And then walk the blocks over to the right. It'll shorten the distance so that you can reach your right foot with your right hand. Good. You can stay right there if it feels appropriate. Left hand comes inside the left leg with the block. Maybe left hand to left thigh if you feel steady. This heel is also a little forward of your knee. So just walk, I just don't want you to strain the knee. You okay there? Mm-hmm. Press the back knee down and forward as you draw the shoulders up and back. Good. Pull the back knee forward. And then you want to take your butt back. Yeah, it's like kind of counterintuitive. And then gently release and downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. So think of your psoas as connected to the middle of your back and puff up the middle of the back. Like right here in plank, do a big cat stretch. Cat stretch, yes. And feel the tops of the thighs lift. Good. It's because your psoas goes right down to your upper inner thigh. So the upper inner thighs lift and the mid back lifts. And can you keep that now as you reach just your heart forward and up? Yes. Exhale, downward dog. Whew. Inhale to float the right leg to the sky. Exhale through to lunge. Blocks high inside the front foot. Lower the back knee down. Bend the back leg. And with your left hand, find your left foot. Pull the left knee forward as you take the top of the left thigh back. And it's like you want to get that upper inner left thigh to move towards the back of the room. Then the ribs towards the back of the room, or like if you're leaning forward, so think cat stretch. And then shoulders up and back like you're unfurling. Maybe right arm to the sky if you feel steady. And think left thigh bone back, top of the left thigh back, ribs back, shoulders back, head back, right bicep back. Keep all that, bend the front leg 2 more inches. Whew. Your psoas is holding you together. Thank God for that, because what else is? Just kidding. Release the hands, downward facing dog. Hopefully some good relationships with yourself and those around you. That helps. We are the company we keep. So keep good company. It helps us hold ourselves together. On the inhale, float the left leg to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Back knee grounds to the mat or the blanket. Hands to the blocks inside your front leg to get set. Bend your back leg. And with your right hand, find your right foot. Begin by binding yourself to yourself. And now we want the inner right thigh to travel to the back of the room. The upper inner right thigh moves towards the heel behind you. Then the ribs lift up and back. The bottom ribs, can you think, lift them up and back. And then the shoulders lift up and back and the head up and back. Maybe reach the left arm to the sky, the left biceps back. The right inner thigh back, ribs back, shoulders back, head back. Keep that as you bend the front leg deeper. Try not to let that back thigh come with you. Whew. And gently release. Downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Ride your breath. Exhale to lower. The exhale carries you down. The inhale carries the heart forward and up. Stay grounded through your feet and legs. Exhale for downward facing dog. Follow your breath, not my voice. Yeah, of course. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize you didn't have one. Because she, yeah. Did I miss anyone else? Anyone else need a blanket? Want a blanket? You don't have a blanket? Maybe just check with Maury when she comes back. She probably doesn't want one. On the inhale, float the right leg to the sky. Exhale through to pigeon prep. Okay, tuck the back toes under, pad that back knee as needed. With the back toes tucked under, peek over your left shoulder to make sure that your left knee and foot are in line with your hip. You can walk this foot in a tiny bit. There you go. Okay, now bring your forearms to the floor in front of you. Pull the knees towards each other to lift and square your hips. And then keeping your hips more lifted and square, maybe walk your back knee back. Notice if you're tilting to the right here, as is the tendency in pigeon prep and all these poses. Just like in Warrior 2, the tendency is for the weight to kind of fall over the front leg. That's happening here as well. The weight tends to tilt to the right. Can you redistribute your weight so it's more even from left to right? Get more weight on the outer edge of your left knee. Pull the left knee forward and wrap the left hip forward. Is it okay to touch? This might be dramatic. I'm just a fair warning. You okay there? Okay, that's awesome. Now it's more square. Can you feel that? Okay, we're gonna army crawl the forearms to the left. So much so that you're moving the right elbow in the direction of, it doesn't have to touch, the right elbow's moving towards the right foot. The right elbow is moving towards the right foot. It doesn't have to touch, you just find your edge, your limit. And you're sort of twisting your upper body from right to left And as you inhale, pull the knees towards each other and twist your lower body from left to right. So if you're in the studio, your pelvis is twisting towards the brick wall and your torso is twisting towards the stairwell wall. And you breathe. Like it tends to diminish, the form tends to diminish the breath. Prioritize the breath. We're a breath with a form, not a form with a breath. Huge breath in, belly expands, knees pull towards each other. Keep that as you exhale, belly contracts, twist. Inhale to untwist. Walk your forearms back in front of you. Interlace your fingers. Tuck the bottom finger in if it's getting smushed. Hug the elbows in. Press the wrist knobs down. Lift your back knee and thigh off the floor. Reach your heart forward. Big breath in. Exhale, right foot meets the left foot. Forearm plank. Breathe. We'll be here for approximately 9 nights, which I think symbolizes any and every time, like we're in it, we're in the throes of it, and we think that's gonna last forever. We think that's gonna be eternal, and then eventually the end comes, we overcome. Lift your thighs higher, that will help, and reach your heart forward. Press the forearms down and in. Press the wrist knobs down. Can you lift the right knee and thigh higher? The left knee and thigh higher? By the way, it's gonna be 1 minute, just 1 minute. It'll feel like 9 nights. Slow down the inhale, thighs lift. Slow down the exhale, heart reaches, extends. 1 more of the deepest, fullest breaths. And on the exhale, lower the knees, the thighs, the hips, the belly. Plant the hands, downward facing dog. Take your time, we'll meet in dog. Find your breath. Breath to heart, heart to mind, mind to body. Is it okay to touch? Yeah, you okay there? On the inhale, float the left leg to the sky. Exhale through to pigeon prep. Get more weight on the outer edge of the back knee. You can close your eyes to find that and feel that. The weight tends to roll to the inner knee, the right hip tends to lift, and the weight falls to the left hip. We want to internally rotate that back leg. Get more weight on the outer knee. Pull the knees towards each other and shift the weight off of the left hip and over to the right. Then bring your forearms to the floor in front of you. And you're sort of army crawling here out of the depths of your being as you pull the knees towards each other and square the hips. From deep in the depth of your pelvis, reach the elbows forward. Reach the elbows forward. Good. And now, army crawl your elbows to the right. The direction is left elbow towards the left foot. It doesn't have to touch. It's not about making a connection. It's really just about stretching from left hip to left armpit. Like a crescent, pull the left hip crease back and reach your left armpit towards the right corner of your mat. And pull the back knee forward and twist your hips to the left, and on an exhale, think belly, navel, heart to the right. Inhale, back to center, interlace your fingers, elbows shoulder width apart, press the forearms, wrist knobs down, lift the back knee up, big breath in, left foot meets the right foot. We'll be here 1 minute. Find your breath. Press your forearms down. Hug your elbows in. Reach your heart forward. Deep breath. Lift your thighs up. Press the balls of the feet down. Spread your toes. Squeeze your feet, your ankles, your shins to the midline. Deep breath. Notice if the head is dropping, draw the bottom ribs up towards the sky like a cat stretch. Do more like a tiger cat stretch. Pandiculate bottom ribs towards the sky. Look forward. 2 more of the slowest, deepest, fullest breaths. And on the exhale, lower the knees, the thighs, the hips, the belly. Make a pillow with your hands. Enjoy your breath. Feel the breath in the back and sides of your waist. Is it okay to touch there?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you did something?
Well, that's where I'm like recovering from the thing I was telling you about. So I was just feeling like a little overused there.
Yeah.
So.
Feel free to go this route. Turn your head to the other side. Can you find and notice the rhythmic beating of your heart? Wherein the voice of the Great Mother resides in every single one of us. She is you, you are her. She conceals herself in you in order to reveal herself as you for the sake of creating beauty, and goodness and virtuosity, for the sake of restoring balance, for the sake of protecting the earth and all fellow humans. These aspects reside in one and all. You can prop yourself up on your forearms. And as you prop yourself on your forearms, feel how like the bottom ribs tend to kind of drop. You can sort of let them drop at first, and then let the bottom ribs sort of lift up. Are there kids here? Mine? Okay, phew. Bottom ribs lift up. Press your right knee down, and then bend the right leg, heel to butt cheek, and with your right hand, reach for your right foot. And can you draw the inner heel towards the outer hip? Stretch back through the left leg and press the left foot down. Okay to touch here? Press the foot down, yeah, right there. And as you press the left foot down, kick your right foot back into your hand to lift and open the chest, the lungs, the heart. Yeah, kick the foot back. Yes, like you're pulling on the back of a bow. Can you feel that? And release the right foot. Bend the left leg, press the left knee, that's better, yeah. Press the left knee down, and with the left hand, find the left foot. And at first, draw the inner heel to the outer hip. Squeeze the left knee against the right leg. Yeah, like hug the knees together, and then the key is keeping that inner heel to outer hip. That's a game changer. And now reach back through the right leg and press the right foot down. And as you press the right foot down, kick the left foot back. Kick the left foot into the hand so much the chest lifts, the shoulder opens. And then twist your chest a little to the right. Yes. Yeah, turn your heart, your left lung to the right more. And gently release. Downward facing dog. Right leg through to lunge. Lower the back knee. Gonna wanna pad again. Blanket, no blanket. Should I just walk your back foot back a little bit? Your front foot back is what I'm trying to say. Bend the back leg, left hand for left foot, right hand for right thigh. We've been here, I think this is our third time here. Press the back knee down and forward. Pull the front foot and hip crease back. Now maybe for some of you with your right hand, find your left foot. Maybe, maybe. And if so, with your left arm, reach to the sky. Otherwise, right arm to the sky. Turn your back toes out and pull your back knee forward. And whichever arm is to the sky, from the bicep, the upper inner arm, draw yourself towards the back of the room. Pull the back knee forward. Now notice the ribs are dropping down and forward like they were on the floor. Imagine there's a floor or a wall in front of your rib cage, and pull your ribs away from the floor towards the back of the room. Yes. And as you draw the ribs back, pull the back knee forward. This is ultimate in the psoas. Gently release. Holy cow, that refers to Shiva's ride. Downward dog, Nandi. Push through the arms to lift through the hips and ground through the heels. When you're ready, we'll meet with the left leg and lunge, right knee to the ground, pad with the blanket. You can bring both hands to the front thigh. Press the back knee down and forward, and then heel to butt. With your right hand, find the outer right foot. Maybe with your left hand, find the inner right foot. You can even pause there like a shoulder stretch. Draw the shoulder blades together. Activate your back foot, maybe reach the right arm to the sky. Otherwise, left arm to the sky. And the key is as you pull the back knee forward, draw the ribs back. And as the back knee pulls forward and the ribs draw back, you might even reach the right arm up and a little over to the left, like a crescent. Gently release. Downward facing dog. Okay. Lower the knees down. I'm going to show on Camden here today. We're going to do a pose called Virasana, and we'll do a little breath work in there. So, are you going to flip it around? Is that what you're about? So I'm going to have Camden take the blanket this way so that the fringe is facing the front of the mat. And then Camden's going to bring her knees onto the blanket, hips width apart or all the way together, and walk them forward just so that the ankles come right to the edge of the blanket. And I can see that she might want 2 blankets. We're going to take it as we go. Point the feet, Camden. Oh, that's perfect. And take your feet outer hips width apart. Bring your hands to the floor in front of you. So the knees are hips width apart. They're going to want to splay. So sometimes for those of you whose knees want to splay, it's good to have a block between your thighs. And then the ankles are right at the folded edge of the blanket. And she's going to do a big cow stretch, Nandi. And see how it takes her pelvis back. She's going to lead with her pubic bone to sit between the heels. And she's either going to sit all the way to the floor. Oh, yeah, no problem. Or just to show, you can take a block. I just lift your bum up for a sec. If you need a little bit of support, a block. So you want the knees in line with the hips, and then basically you want the inner heels hugging the outer hips. The feet will want to sickle, like you know what a sickle is? So as the heels hug in, you got to fan the toes out. It's called hero pose. I want Virasana, like Virabhadrasana is warrior pose. Virasana is the pose of the hero. Vira means heroic. There should be no knee pain, no foot, no ankle pain. If there is, please call me over. And then your eyes will become soft, either softly opened or softly closed. If they're open, you sort of cast them downward and look for your breath. And you take a moment to sit here in something that looks like stillness, knowing full well about ourselves and each other that what might look like stillness on the surface contains multitudes. Like, we all have so much going on under the surface. So we'll look for the breath and let the breath hold your vision. I'll talk you through it. So your blanket's gonna have the fringes facing the front and the front of the ankle right at the crease of the blanket. Knees are hips width apart. You could put a block in there. And then sort of stick your butt out and let the pubic bone direct you towards the space between the heels. Sit on as much support as you need and as little support as you need. Think pubic bone down and back, tailbone down, ribs back, shoulders back. Call me over if you have knee pain or foot pain or any kind of physical pain that could probably be resolved with some micro adjustments to your alignment. Sit on a block if you like, as high as you need, as low as you can. If there's any sort of tension in the knees, I used to get this, I would just sort of pull the skin from the base of my kneecap towards the top, and that would sort of clear that. And if there's tension in the back of the knee, we can put some spacers in there as needed. Look for your breath. They don't have to touch, but they shouldn't splay. So your knees should be in line with your hip sockets. Flick the toenails down and out and hug the outer heels in. And as you inhale through the nose, feel your belly expand. And as you exhale through your nose, feel the belly soften. Trace the breath with the light of your awareness. We'll be here for 1 minute. Like holding plank, and yet so different from holding plank. You energetically hug your knees in and fan your toes out. As you inhale, can you send your pubic bone down and back? Feel the low back draw in and up. And as you exhale, anchor the tailbone down. Feel the ribs draw back, shoulders back, head back. Let the breath pour in and down and fill you up. And let the breath pour out. One more of the deepest, fullest breaths here. At the bottom of the exhale, you can blink the eyes open if they're not already. Walk your hands forward towards like a tabletop position. Stretch your right leg back behind you. Press the right heel back, like where we started, bringing circulation back to the knee. Right knee to the ground. And then left leg back. We still friends? We're in this together. We really are. Okay, questions, comments, concerns, conundrums about Virasana, because we're going to actually do it again. Does anybody want tips or adjustments, alternatives? Alternatives, yeah. One of my favorite alternatives is a pose that you'll often see the goddess seated in, especially the goddess of the Tara tradition, the healer, where you can stack your blocks and have one leg out and one leg in Virasana. So, and then I just want to show from the back, and feel free to come where you can see. I'm actually using the block to press the heel into. So there's a lot of action here. I'm if I got up, I'd be pushing the blocks over with the heel. Could you see that? So that's how much action has to be happening in your feet. So you're not losing connection to your legs, your lower legs, which is easy to happen there. So I'm pressing this heel into the block so much, if I wasn't sitting my weight on the blocks would be getting heel kicked towards the bolsters. And then one leg out. For some folks who have knee injuries or surgeries and scar tissue that hasn't been fully addressed, this posture is not going to be either accessible or even recommended, in which case you could be here in a supported malasana or even just full malasana, or the other place, this is way less accessible, but the other place, Virasana, is the pose of the hero, the warrior. We often see the goddess in the lotus. Oh, haven't done that in a while. So you could be here or even in a half lotus, okay? But on support so that your low back's not rounding. I love this one. You could be on one block too, but this is gonna be the most accessible. Do you like that? Okay, friends again. Restored. Restore the friendship, that's the goddess, yeah. And I'll just talk you through taking the Virasana leg out and then the Malasana leg in. So you'll switch sides, okay? So it's not one size fits all, and nor should it be. She takes all forms, infinite forms for eternity. Learning how to suit yourself is a way of honoring her. And you'll often hear me say that in my cueing, move in the way that suits you. When you know what suits you, there's like a grace and an elegance and an honoring of the goddess. It's like the way that you adorn yourself. So it's your inner Lakshmi. It's your style. We want to celebrate it. So for those of you who are comfortably in Virasana, I'm just going to pretend that I can be comfortable there, having not warmed up my psoas like you all have. If your butt's all the way down, 2 options. Heart bench. Have your blocks handy, and you can take 1 block right underneath the heart, and the other block underneath the head on the same height as the block under your heart or a little bit higher, whatever feels supportive. So this is great for the psoas. The full-on psoas shebang is going to be full Supta Virasana on your back. Tailbone is towards Camden. See how much my bottom ribs want to poke because I haven't been doing all that psoas release? Bottom ribs towards the floor. Whoo! Either hands on the belly, down to the sides, or again, the full-on shebang. Oh, is this the goddess or so? Oh, those are the folks at home, goddesses at home. Arms overhead. This is very intense. Wherever you are, wherever you choose to be, should not diminish the breath. Then we're not doing yoga, then we're just stretching in Sanskrit. That is very different. Yoga is, thank you. Aw, friends. When you share the sense of humor. I feel so bad for my husband. All his jokes are lost on me. I'm like, how long can this really last? He does make me laugh, but I miss a lot. So you want to make sure that you're going right up to your edge where it requires effort to sustain the intimacy with the breath. At some point, you pass the line, and the breath gets diminished. It doesn't have to feel easy to breathe, but it shouldn't take your breath away. That is the key. That is the battle. Fight for the breath, okay? So choose, yeah.
When you're seated on like a prop in Virasana, you like get to the point where your weight is like more through your sitting bones, or do you want to feel like
Equally. So your weight is in your sitting bones, but you don't, because like a lot of times when folks will lie back, did this happen to anyone? Do you feel your knees come up? You got to have your sitting bones down, your tailbone down, and the knees should feel like they can press down and in, just like they did in the back leg. And if you're on support in Virasana and you want to go back, you just want to go back as high as your support is. So you might just prop yourself on your forearms, and you'll feel a big psoas stretch. Yeah? And as you lean back towards your forearms, just make sure you're hugging that Virasana knee to the midline. Towards them. Yes, now you're in your psoas. And breathe. Because your psoas is the place that holds the energy that either needs to be let go of or assimilated. All those stories live in this deepest core group of muscles whose job it is to literally hold you together. And it stores and it carries a lot of energy, a lot of story. Awesome. So pubic bone down, tailbone down, sitting bones towards the knees, knees down and in. Yeah.
I don't feel it in my left ankle, but I feel it in my right ankle, like just that like pressure in the right.
Yeah, so that's why you might want the feet over the edge of the blanket.
Oh, because it's hiking it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll let it release. See if that works, and if not, we'll try something else.
Yeah, let's try it out.
Find your breath. And let's see if we can call this 9 of the deepest, fullest breaths that require the least amount of effort. And some days it blows my mind how I don't even have the focus for the breath to hold my awareness for 9 cycles. Some days it's easy, some days not so easy. Can you focus your breath wherever you are, however you choose to be? Can you be with the breath for 9 rounds? And they don't have to be 9 consecutive breaths, but 9 breaths in total that hold your awareness. Is that better?
I think it's just like problems with my ankle.
I think it's, so what I was suggesting was more like come up and scooch this way and have your ankle right here.
I see. Okay, so it's just supported underneath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Supported malasana, supported virasana, half malasana. So much of our practice is about discovering what even suits us in a world that tries to input so much information around what should suit us. So much of the practice is about learning and discovering for ourselves what actually suits us. Is that better? Yeah, that's the point of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Whenever you get to your 9th round of breath, you can take one more round and then very gently, carefully maneuver your way towards tabletop position, and one at a time, stretch your legs out. This is not our last round. Stretch back through one leg and then the other. Questions, comments, concerns, conundrums? Okay. So now, if you love Virasana, and by the way, I do love this pose. I didn't always. In my mid-20s, I realized how much I could not stand, could not bear being in this pose. And that was the same time in my life I started watching the news as an adult, I guess my early 20s. And I would try to do, take in 5-minute news segments in Virasana. That was my Virasana practice. That was early aughts for context, if you can remember the news in those days. Maybe it was a little younger. I guess I might have been late teens, early 20s. So 20 years later, more than 20 years later, I love this pose. If you're not finding compatible intimacy with this, you're gonna come onto your back and find a strap, and we're gonna meet you there. You can come onto your back, knees bent, feet on the ground, have a strap. Melissa, I'd love for you to get down to work. We're gonna do the Hasta Padangusasana, just help keep people's bottom leg grounded if they're open to it. And if you love Virasana and you're really wanting the deepest psoas work ever, we're gonna meet back in Supta Virasana. So you can come into Supta Virasana. So have your strap handy if you're on your back. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor. If you're not in Virasana, your knees are bent, your feet are on the floor. You can place a block between your inner thighs here. And if you're in Supta Virasana, I'm just trying to see if anyone is taking this option. Yeah, you're in Supta Virasana. Press the knees down and in and place your hands outside your ears about as wide as your mat. You don't have to hold your strap just yet if you're on your back. Knees bent, feet on the floor, hips width apart. Bend your elbows alongside your waist. Press your elbows down, stand through your feet to lift your hips up. You're coming into bridge pose. And as you come into bridge pose, can you try to hold the block more with the fronts of the thighs? Send your pubic bone towards the floor and the tailbone towards the sky, and breathe. If you're in Supta Virasana, you can stay right there. Also, you can take your hands like you would for Urdhva Dhanurasana, outside your ears, about as wide as your mat. Suck your armpits in, and then push through your hands to lift to the top of your head. Walk your hands in, lift your hips up, push your arms straight. If you're in bridge pose and you want to come into Urdhva Dhanurasana there, hug the block with the fronts of the thighs, place your hands outside your ears about as wide as your mat, push through the legs, push through the arms, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Ooh, you okay? Yeah. 3 more of the deepest, fullest breaths. Saraswati is the goddess of music and knowledge and creation. She resides in you to reveal herself through you, your creativity. Lakshmi is the goddess of beauty and abundance. She's your elegance, your style, your beauty, your prosperity. And Durga is the great mother, the goddess of dissolution and transformation. When you're ready, lower your hips to the ground, take your feet about as wide as the mat, knees rest against each other. And just let the knees windshield wiper from side to side at your own pace. How is that, Jaya? Yeah. This is like, and this is, for what it's worth, especially, I should have mentioned this because there's a lot of new folks in class today. This was like basically a workshop. This is a lot of what I used to do in a workshop decades ago called the SOAS Release Workshop. We didn't do all of it because we don't have 2 hours or 2.5 hours, but we did a lot of it. And it is very deep work on a subconscious and unconscious level. So just to kind of be mindful of that as you move through the rest of your day. Knees to center. Bend your right leg in. Take the strap across the ball of the right foot. And then either stretch your left leg out long or guide your left leg into Supta Virasana. So your left leg's in Virasana or extended out long, and the strap is across the ball of the right foot. If you're in Supta Virasana, you're pressing the left knee down and in. If you're in Hasta Padangusthasana, you're pressing the left heel, knee, and thigh down and in. Take both sides of the strap into your right hand, and the key is keep the left thigh rooted as you open the right leg out to the right. Okay there? Lots of psalwas. Inhale the leg high to the sky. And on the exhale, float, release it, float it down. If you're in Virasana, carefully kind of tip roll to the right to let your left leg out. You want to be really mindful in that transition. And then either stretch your right leg out long or bend your right leg back into Virasana. Take the strap across the ball of the left foot and extend your left heel to the sky. If you're in Virasana, press the right knee down and in as you extend the left heel up. And if the leg is extended out long, you want to press the right heel, inner right heel and inner right knee down and press the right thigh down. Extend the leg long and this way. Yeah, the inner heel. Yes. Is it okay to touch here? The inner heel. Yep. Great. Can I really get in there? Oh, yeah. Take both sides of the strap into the left hand and open the left leg out to the left. And the key is to really keep the right leg grounded. Is that okay? Pushing at me here. Yes. And then inhale the leg up through center. Release the strap, float the leg down to the ground. Reach your arms overhead. Huge breath in, let it percolate inside. Exhale with an audible sigh. 2 more times just like that at your own pace. Open to receive the breath deeply, fully, wholeheartedly, and let it pour out of you, carrying away anything and all that no longer serves you. The bottom of the 3rd breath, pause, take 3 beats. And we're going to do another cycle of 3. In slowly and deeply through the nose. And this time, exhale slowly and softly through gently parted lips. 2 more times at your own pace. In through the nose, deeply, fully, take it to heart. And then exhale, let the breath pour out of you slowly, gently, fully, through slightly parted lips. And at the bottom of the third breath, take a beat, 2, 3 beats. Follow your breath, not my voice. And we'll do one more cycle of 3 for 9 in total. This time, inhale through the nose, slowly, deeply, fully, take it to heart. And exhale through the nose, jaw soft. So the lips are closed, but the teeth are apart and the tongue is soft. 2 of the slowest, deepest, fullest breaths in and out through the nose. And at the bottom of your third exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your legs, and give yourself the sweetest and most loving embrace. Literally wrap yourself around yourself. For this is, bless you, and you are divine. She conceals herself in and as each and every single one of us in order to reveal her infinite diversity, to celebrate her infinite diversity in us, as us, through us, in all of our forms, in all of our different forms. She is the voice, the archetype, the aspect in us that has the power to overcome any and all adversity, that has the power to create, sustain, and transform, the power to restore. Scan your body with your awareness to see if there's any final poses, movements, or adjustments that you need or want to make in order to feel completely prepared to fully relax. And as you're ready, when you're ready, spread yourself out on the altar of the earth, on the lap of Mother Earth. And just as she offers herself to you, wholeheartedly and unconditionally, make of yourself a wholehearted offering to her. Spread yourself out on the altar of the earth, that all of your self-perceived edges and boundaries and limitations dissolve. Feel your edges melt into the lap of the earth. Allowing yourself to come closer to directly experiencing your oneness, your connection and unity with all that is. And as the form dissolves, the breath remains. Let the breath hold your vision. And you can tune me out, stay with your breath, your thoughts, your feelings, or you can tune me in as I read from chapter 5 of the Devi Mahatmya in praise of the goddess. Salutation to the Devi, to the great Devi. Salutation always to her who is auspicious. Salutation to her who is the primordial cause, to her who is gracious. With mind's intent, we bow to her. Salutation to her who is terrible, to Gauri, the eternal shining one, to her who sustains the universe. Salutations again and again. Salutation always to her who is moonlight, who has the form of the moon and is blissful. We bow to her who is auspicious beauty. We make salutations again and again to her who is prosperity and attainment. Salutations again and again to her who is the fortune and misfortune of kings, to Sarvani, the consort of Shiva. Salutations always to Durga, who takes us through difficulties, who is the creator and indwelling essence of all, who is right knowledge and who also appears dark as smoke. We bow to her who is at once most gentle and most fierce. Salutations to her again and again. Salutation to the support of the world, to the Devi who is creative action. Salutations again and again. To the Devi who in all beings is called Vishnamaya, salutation to her, salutation to her, salutation to her again and again, who in all beings is seen as consciousness, who abides in all beings in the form of intelligence, who abides in all beings in the form of sleep, who abides in all beings in the form of hunger, who abides in all beings in the form of shadow, who abides in all beings in the form of power, who abides in all beings in the form of thirst, who abides in all beings in the form of forgiveness, who abides in all beings in the form of order, who abides in all beings in the form of modesty, in the form of peace, in the form of faith, who abides in all beings in the form of loveliness, in the form of good fortune, in the form of activity, in the form of memory, of compassion, of contentment, who abides in all beings in the form of mother, who abides in all beings in the form of error. Salutation to her, salutation to her, salutation to her, again and again. To her who presides over the elements and the senses and is ever present in all beings. To the all-pervading Devi, salutations again and again. Invite the deepest, fullest breath in, and the slowest, longest, most heartfelt breath out. The breath ignites the heart, the indwelling light of the heart, the luminosity of the goddess, informs, illuminates, and inspires your mind and your body. And here in this gift of embodiment, the power of the goddess animates you, enlivens you, and awakens you. Wiggling your toes and your fingers, stretching through your arms and your legs. Let the spirit that you are begin to gently awaken the body that you have. And let the body that you have embrace and affirm and adorn the spirit that you are. Literally wrapping yourself around yourself, for this is and you are the gift of life. Savor a few more breaths. And when you're ready, bend your legs and feel both feet on the ground, and just take a moment to call yourself down to earth, to call yourself back to reality, and to visualize stretching yourself in this practice of yoga into and throughout the activities of your daily life. In so doing, bringing more beauty, goodness, auspiciousness, grace, and virtuosity to those in the world around you. In so doing, doing your part to maintain for dear life the balance. Imagine that. As you're ready, gently roll to one side. Begin to press through strong arms to find your way into a comfortable seated posture with your eyes closed and your hands folded before your heart in Anjali Mudra, a gesture of sincere self-reverence and courageous self-offering, a gesture that places the heart before the heart as a guide and an offering in all we do. In so doing, moving through our lives in this world courageously, lovingly. As you bow to your heart with all my heart, I bow to every one of you. Thank you so much for your practice, for your presence, and for all that you are and do every day of this life. Thank you all so much. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being together. It's such a beautiful, beautiful, awe-inspiring tradition. It is one of my most favorite festivals of any world tradition, the Festival of the 9 Nights of the Divine Feminine. You can look on Instagram and Google and, take it all with a grain of salt, because who knows what you're taking in, where it came from. But for the most part, it's pretty inspiring. So collect all the different stories like bottle caps, trust that they will contradict each other, and find inspiration where you can. Thanks, everyone. Did anyone in the house have any announcements that we didn't get to in the beginning? Anything going on in the neighborhood? Shows, concerts, canvassing? Oh, there's a concert. Is it free? Free concert in Mariel Park tonight. Yeah, it's still fun. Still nice to get out and be in the community. Thank you. Melissa, will you hit the stop stream? Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. I like